Joan, will you please tell us a little bit about the path that led you to be in the forefront of working with your community, and especially for older women?
Well, first of all, I guess what I should tell you is that Gray Panthers does not only focus on older women, but older men, younger women, and everybody. It's a multi-level organization, and it's true it was originated by an older woman, but the issues that it covers are, I would categorize as global. But to get back to why I ever became involved in this, for about 20 years prior to retiring, I was involved in adult day health care program here in town and a program called Senior Companions, where seniors are linked up with homebound seniors to provide them with visiting supports, friendly assurance types of things, taking them to their medical appointments and so on. And I became intimately involved with the problems of that population, both the disabled adult and seniors who have problems like transportation that keep them homebound. And when I retired, I did a sort of an unusual little process of deciding that I had a number of things I wanted to do with my life, like genealogy of my family and so on. One of the things I wanted to do was give back to my community a little bit. And
what made you want to give back? What had you received? And
well, I think that throughout our lives we've all received a great deal from our communities that we don't just ordinarily think about.
Yeah, what are some of those things that we get from our community? You have them on the tip of your tongue?
Oh, I guess I don't really have them laid out as such. It's just that I felt that I've lived a really good life. I've had people help me whenever I needed help. I've had good supports in my community for me. And so I looked around me and I saw so many people without that. So that was what, stirred me to go into community action, and I've been doing that now for about 3 years.
Great. Well, listen, I'd like to also introduce Betty Perry right now and get her voice known by our listeners, and get real nice and close and eat the mic.
Well, I was a little more casual in my joining of the Older Women's League. My husband happened to die, unfortunately, in 1984, and I had some spare time. A good friend of mine was involved with the Older Women's League. She said, "Betty, I think you might like this." "Okay," I said, "I'll do a little bit." Well, since that time, I have done quite a few things. In fact, I would say my life pretty well revolves around the Older Women's League at this time. I've held all the offices, I think, in the local chapter. I've been the state president, and now I'm the state public policy director.
What does that mean, being the state policy
Well,
person?
I work with our group on legislative issues and go to the legislature, and then I go back to our group.
What do you mean? You go to meetings and listen in? Or?
I attend hearings. I write letters. I give the perspective of the needs of the older woman. Older women are a big portion of our society that has special needs. We have a lot of health and economic needs, and many older women are not like Joan and me. They're reluctant to come forward and speak. So we are there looking out for causes which would make life better for older women.
So, Joan, what do you think maybe keeps women from speaking out?
That's
do you think it's women in general, or older women, or?
Oh, I think it's older women more than younger women. Older women have kind of come from a society that says in the first place, we're supposed to stay home and raise kids and let our husbands do the talking. and it's only
Especially that generation ago. Yeah.
especially and particularly in politics
Mhm.
and public issues like that. Even today, as you look around in Congress, for example, there's a pitiful, poor number of women that are representing the vast, almost 50% of America, which is made up of women. But I think we're learning to speak. And I think also minorities and the disenfranchised people are learning to speak up. For example, currently there's a great cry for justice for janitors.
Tell me,
who are-
yeah, tell me a little bit about that one.
Well, the Justice for Janitors campaign is seeks to see that janitors that work in public buildings in particular are paid a fair wage. Right now they're subsisting on minimum wages, and they work horrendous hours, take great risks.
If there are any janitors or custodians around listening, give us a call at 916-456-5199 and get some support and find out where you can go and get some help with getting better pay and better working conditions.
You realize that, this is Betty again, that what happens is that companies and even the state contract out for their janitorial service. So their
They're not state workers.
No, and companies do the same thing, so that the people who do the custodial work do not have the benefits that other employees of the company have. This is a real problem, and so there's been a focus on organizing the janitors and then bargaining with those contractors that employ them. And this has caused a lot of dissension, but we think...
Between whom?
Between the custodian, the janitorial staff, and the contractors, as well as the companies that employ these. There's a lot of pressure brought to bear to get these workers organized and unionized. So
Are there also women in those jobs?
Oh, yes, and they particularly suffer.
Yes, women probably make up a large number of our janitors in the public buildings, and particularly people from South America, people from Mexico, and they have the additional problem that many of them do not speak English, and so that serves a little bit to disenfranchise them even more.
So there's really a need maybe for some people to go in and do some tutoring.
Well,
And
yes,
encourage
yes.
people to get over to the adult education courses. and
Absolutely,
things like that.
absolutely. The ESL classes, like Fremont School, is one, and there are a number of other places throughout the town. And
Yeah.
so they're short.
When is there going to be? Is there going to be
Well, I
a
was
protest?
just going
Yeah?
to say there's coming up a 5-day fast by the janitors.
5-day
And
fast.
it starts next week as well. I think if they contact SEIU, and I don't have that telephone number, but that's the
What does that stand for?
Service Employees International Union,
Okay.
and we have an office here in Sacramento. And if they contact them, they can find out the wheres and what is happening about this fast. About 2 years ago, I participated in one of those. I fasted for 1 day along with some other Gray Panthers just to make a statement. And at that time, many of the janitors camped out in what was then called Plaza Park or Chavez Park downtown. But it's just horrendous because some of these women have to take care of their children in the daytime and work all night. They have nobody
So then we
else.
wonder why people are not home with their kids
sure,
and stuff like
sure.
that. Yeah,
And
they got to work.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's another event.
I just want to say,
pardon me.
please call us. This is Action Callers, and this is a show for you to give a call and ask your questions and to say some of your complaints, and just give us a call right now at 916-456-5199. We really are here for wanting to support you and until you call, then we'll talk about the Gray Panthers and we'll talk about Older Women's League. But when you call, we can change the topic at any moment, and you can ask your question or you can have your issue that you're really upset about. And these two women have had years of experience in community action, and they can be really helpful. So go ahead, Betty. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm glad to encourage people to call us. Another issue that we both have worked on a great deal is work with the disabled community. We've done this in several ways. We've been very active in helping the in-home supportive service workers who often provide the necessary care for the disabled people to be out and active in our community.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a suit that we want to explain to you that's proceeding through the courts, and California has joined. So
Okay.
maybe when we come back on the air, I will give that back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, Betty, why don't you continue with what you were saying?
There is a suit that's going through, to this Supreme Court that's been filed by the state of Alabama. And now California has joined in this suit. Let me explain how it starts. Well, it's to excuse states from their enforcement of the Americans for Disabilities Act. This started here in California because a disabled person refused to pay to have a disabled handicap parking sticker or sign. It's the $6. They said they deserved that through the Americans for Disabilities Act. This has become a huge issue with the whole Americans for Disabilities Act being threatened. And we're urging people in California to ask our governor to withdraw our participation in this suit. And there's going to be a big rally on the 13th at 11:30 in the morning at the state capitol. Now, Joan, you know a lot about this.
Well, one thing that should be said about that is that, and I want to just back up a minute. When Betty refers to we quite a bit in this, one of the neat things about these groups in Sacramento in particular is that we refers to a number of organizations.
Uh-huh.
OWL, Gray Panthers, the Congress of California Seniors, Resources for Independent Living, which is sort of a focal point for disabled people. A number of these groups get together regularly and talk over the issues and kind of coalesce around them. So
Because it sometimes takes more than one person to do something,
yes,
doesn't
it
it?
does. But at the same time, what you got is a meeting of the minds. You can bring up issues that the other person hasn't spotted or seen. But what we see about working with the disabled is their issues are our issues 90% of the time. The issues of transportation for the disabled are also issues of transportation for seniors, issues of access, of even curb cuts and things like that make a big difference for seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one reason we work so hard to support their causes.
Let me ask you this. I've often wondered myself, what is the difference between OWL and the Gray Panthers? You know, do you have a different
Yeah.
different
Quite
focus?
different. Oh yes, it's very different
what is the
focus,
difference?
and yet as you see, we come together
absolutely.
around issues.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, Betty maybe can elaborate more about OWL's issues with women, but Gray Panthers has a very broad scope. We touch on things like peace and nuclear energy as it relates to international policy. We work on the environment. We've been very active in the problems of rice burning and air quality for the Sacramento
Thank
Valley.
goodness you're doing that. Is that a coalition too?
Well, yes, and we belong also to a big coalition called SAC 10, or Sacramento Transportation Equity Network, big fancy name.
Well, good. Give a call, you guys that are listening, and find out what you want to know. Call us at 916-456-5199. We have the experts here on what's going on with our air and our environment and with being older and being disabled. That they've got the inside dope. So give us a call.
Yeah,
916-456-5199. We do want to hear from you. We'll be joyous when we hear your voice.
One of the issues that's really current that maybe somebody will want to call in about, and that is irradiation of food. I don't know, Betty, if Owl has touched the subject at all, but this is a big problem now that the FDA is going to allow radiation of meats. And there's quite a hue and cry about that. So maybe some of the callers will want to discuss that issue and how they feel generally about our food protections.
Well, what does radiation do to the food? It sounds like it will take away from the sound of it.
It's irradiation, and it basically is supposed to kill off all the germs and bacteria. But the problem that we're having with it is that it basically, we're afraid, leaves us open to unsafe practices in the first place. So in other words, if you think that you're going to irradiate meats, that then we can overlook the nasty conditions that exist today in slaughterhouses. And for example, with, some 85 to 90% of chickens being contaminated with E. coli.
Whoa.
So,
all over the country?
All over the country.
Not just, where did we hear about it? Was it in Canada a few days ago?
Well, that's an outbreak of it up there. But, this is the chickens in slaughterhouses are so badly handled, that it's really a frightening thing. And then if you think, oh, well, I'm going to take a remedial action, then I don't have to worry about it anymore. But you still have all that, and I don't want to use all the nasty words.
No, well, maybe nasty words are good to use here.
Yeah, pus and excrement is left on the chickens.
Yeah.
And so we're very much opposed to
Well, I can see,
irradiation.
now that you said those awful words, now I can really get with it.
Right. So anyway, you were asking the difference. I think Betty can explain about Owl.
Okay, thanks.
Well, many of our members belong to the Gray Panthers and work on the issues that Joan's talking about. We happen to work we're a little more focused on women's health issues. When have worked, for instance, we've worked to promote osteoporosis testing, and we now have legislation in California which requires health insurance companies or HMOs to do osteoporosis testing. We also last year worked to get a bill for more osteoporosis education, because although people can get the testing, a lot of them don't realize the need for it. It's a bone disease, which I understand causes really more deaths of women than just about anything, because when an older woman has a hip fracture, very often within, and I mean we hope they're older than we are, women, they have a hip fracture, they often don't recover because of other complications that come from their being bedridden. So we really are appreciative of the scientific developments that have happened in osteoporosis treatment, and we want the word out about that. That's one kind of thing we've focused on. We've worked, and just as Joan belongs to the Older Women's League and works with us on some of these issues, we worked for the Patient Bill of Rights. We've been working for nursing home reform. These things take a great deal of our time and our energy.
We want those nursing homes to be able to take good care of us when we need it, right?
Well, and I would say more than that, we do. We want
it for our grandmothers and whoever else are there right now, but it's...
but we're now, Joan and I have been particularly busy working on a bill to improve the training of doctors, to have more geriatrician training. Why don't you tell them about that, Joan?
Okay, well, all across the country, this is a horrendous problem. Since 1965, in the first White House Conference on Aging, they identified the fact that doctors are not trained in the skills and knowledge that they need to treat the aging population. And this is sort of a systemic problem, especially here in California. We have 8 schools. Only 2 of them do
8 medical schools?
8 medical schools, and we only do a passable job in about 4 of them. Here in Davis, they only get about 10 hours of training, and in these geriatric skills during their whole 5 years.
Maybe sexuality, they get about another 10 hours, and
I'm not sure if they get anything. I know they don't get enough in nutrition.
And
I know overall there are a lot of things that we would like to see, but we feel with the aging population, it's vital that our doctors be well trained.
Okay, give us a call at 916-456-5199, and we'll be back with you in just a few moments.
Sacramento, the voice is your radio station.
Okay, and light. Camera. And action. Grab your hot buttered popcorn and get ready to enjoy the show. You're invited to take a front row seat with host Dave Fox on The Movie Score Weekly. Each and every week, Dave Fox brings you all your favorite music straight from the big screen. Listen as Dave goes behind the scenes to keep you informed on all your favorite movie composers, film release dates, and so much more. The Movie Score Weekly even features some of the rarest soundtracks in the music business, all in pure stereo. So join the fun each Thursday night starting at 8 and rebroadcast at 8 a.m. Friday mornings. You'll want to catch all the action. Don't miss The Movie Score Weekly.
Do you have dreams?
Do you have goals?
Everyone does.
No matter what race or color they are.
Talk to each other.
Listen to each other.
Sure, we're all different.
But we're also all the same.
Understand the similarities.
Respect the differences.
Help end prejudice in your lifetime. Call 1-800-934-3430 or log on to www.whitehouse.gov. Together we can build one America in the 21st century. Brought to you by the President's Initiative on Race, the Leadership Conference Education Fund, and the Ad Council.
Why is it we never hear about the good things kids do?
Stories. 2 teenagers are accused of drug-related...
The newspaper reports show that 65% of adults have a negative opinion of teenagers. A shootout downtown leaves 4 teenagers dead today.
It's time for teenagers to get noticed for doing something right. Get involved in crime prevention in your community. Tutor, mentor, volunteer, and let's stop proving everybody wrong by doing something right. Call 1-800-722-TEENS.
A public service message brought to you from the Crime Prevention Coalition of America, the U.S. Department of Justice, and the Ad Council.
The Voice and Access Sacramento are helping to make a difference. Just ask Charmy Silva of Weave.
Weave is an agency in Sacramento. It stands for Women Escaping a Violent Environment. Our agency's been around about 20 years. Mainly, we're an agency that offers counseling for victims of domestic violence or dating violence. We offer counseling for male perpetrators of domestic violence, and we also offer counseling for victims of sexual assault. I am creating a video for sexual assault awareness that I will be using in the classroom. I go out into many high schools throughout Sacramento, and I've been able to create the project by taking classes at Access to learn how to use the camera and do the editing, so I'm able to do everything myself.
Charmy Silva is one of many Access members who've learned to help make a difference in our community. Get involved by becoming a member of Access Sacramento. Call us at 456-8600. Access Sacramento, making a difference, one voice at a time.
Don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Voice.
The Voice is 88.7 Cable FM and KYDS 91.5 FM Sacramento.
And now we're back on the air for Action Callers, and I'm your host, Reva Camiel. And we have two guests today. We have Joan Lee from the Gray Panthers with their teeth out, ready to fight. And we have Betty Perry from the Older Women's League. Older Women's League, as you'll sometimes hear about it, is called OWL, like the woo, woo, woo. So the Older Women's League, both of them work together, and they have separate issues also. And so our topic today is older people and people who are in underpaid jobs and people who are disabled. And these women are expert in in how to change legislation. And you can call them and me at 916-456-5199. And we really do want your calls, and we would like to support you in your issues that you're working on. Again, you're on Action Callers, and our number is 916-456-5199. And we have two women here right now. We have Joan and Betty, who have a list of things that they want to tell us about. So go ahead. You ready for that, Joan?
Yeah, I'm just going to finish up a bit about something we were talking about before the break, and that was the training in medical schools for doctors. By the year 2010, the boomers are going to start being seniors. And by the year 20...
That's only 10 years from now, everybody.
Right. And with it takes probably 5 to 6 years for a doctor to get his education. So you can see that we're headed for a major crisis if doctors are untrained in how to work with seniors.
Yeah, and living here in Sacramento, what I've heard from some of the doctors that I work with and psychiatrists that I work with, they're saying a lot of the new doctors and psychiatrists don't want to come to Sacramento.
Right.
Not because it isn't a great place to live, but that HMOs, don't pay them very much, and the paperwork and everything is driving them nuts, and then driving them to other cities. So
sure, that's another issue. But the one of the doctors is a bill by Rod Wright, Assemblyman Rod Wright, and it's AB 1820.
That's Assembly Bill?
Assembly Bill. And what we need...
1820.
Right, and what we need your callers and your friends and associates to do is call Senator Johnston, Patrick Johnson, who is the chair of the Budget Conference Committee, and tell him that you really want this bill to be forwarded and funded.
And what is that bill going to fund?
It's going to fund education. What it'll fund is more teachers in the medical schools who are trained to teach these students and
make room for more
develop
students?
The curriculum. Yes. So it's vital not just for us and not just for the boomers, but for their children. And like so many of the issues. Betty, we've talked about some of the other issues that go across generations.
Yes, well, we also are so strong into health. I'd like to say that regarding the bill Joan was just talking about, AB 1820, we want older people to be kept healthy, and we think if they have better trained doctors who will be more aggressive in keeping them healthy, we'll have fewer people in nursing homes and a whole lot of other advantages for seniors. Now, there's one issue that's been primary with the Older Women's League, and we certainly have been worked in connection with the Gray Panthers. This is universal health care. Now, what the Gray Panthers did, and I think you should start first, Joan, because you started this U2K program. I mean, your group. And then we have been picking up the ball and running with it. So you talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, describe the ball you're
Okay.
running with.
The ball is called Universal Health Care now, and it's U2K campaign.
U2K.
Right, Universal Care in 2000.
Uh-huh.
And it began back in Washington, the drive began back in Washington when Gray Panthers and an organization called UCAN, or Universal Health Care, you know, again an anachronism, got together and decided that this being a major election year, we should have a major drive to see that the only people who get reelected are those who believe in health care for every American,
So
regardless of their age or their social stratus. So if you
How is
really
that
care
different?
about that, you should call in and ask us a few questions.
Yeah, call us at 916-456-5199 if you have any questions about U2K. That's the first time I've heard those initials used or
Sure.
maybe even knew what they meant, so I really
Well, Betty
appreciate that. And how is it different from what Clinton was proposing early on in his first, when he first got elected and Hillary got in all that trouble about health care
Yeah.
and that kind of thing?
I think the important thing is that what we're saying is it doesn't matter right at this point the particular program that you believe in. It doesn't matter the particular method for funding that system or how it's put together. We just have to have people up there who believe that it's our responsibility in the United States to give health care to everyone. You know, there are some 18 other major countries that have universal health care. Why is
Major
it?
countries, I think Germany has it.
England, Germany, Canada, they all do.
Uh-huh.
And there's no excuse for us to drag our feet, except that we have a philosophy that says that if you have money, you should pay for it yourself.
Yeah, it's if any of you feel that everybody in this country shouldn't have health care, give us a call and let's talk about it with you, and let's see if you have some good ideas, or see if maybe what Betty and Joan have to say about universal health care will open your mind to maybe seeing the possibilities of universal health care for this country, like in any of the other, I don't want to say modern societies, but, societies that care about people.
Well, one thing we want to keep in mind, this is not single payer. This does not have to be, at this point, a state-supported program. It has to be a state-encouraged program, of course. But some people are almost hysterical with the thought of socialized medicine. They don't stop and think always how controlled we are now by our HMOs, but we won't get into that discussion right now. Last year, our state legislature passed a bill, SB 480, which said we would have a study to see how this could be done in California. Up to this point, that study hasn't gotten off the ground. Now, remember...
You have an idea why?
Well,
Would you care to share?
I think we should say that there are a lot of concerns about it, and so we want to encourage the governor to encourage the study, to have the Department of Health, who is supposed to do the study, get going on the study, and we want people. There's an option for maybe some more money, and we'd like that to be sought.
How many phone calls by our listeners would make a difference, do you think, or letters, if everybody who's listening in right now, how many letters would make a difference, do you think?
Well, I'm not sure how many, but every one is important. We'd like people, and when we talk about calling these people, Senator Johnston, the governor, those numbers are in the front of your phone book, so you can find those in it's the blue pages before the pink pages in your the local phone book. So we really encourage that to keep these programs going.
Yeah, go ahead.
You've got to
Joan.
remember that that these people up in positions of power got there because of your vote, and as a result of that, if you remind them that you plan to vote this fall or when the next time they come up for election, and that this is a very serious matter with you, whether it be health care or disabled rights or whatever it is, I think you get more of an ear and listening. We made a great deal of difference in the pay of the home care workers.
Did you?
Because of the thousands of people who called, the rallies we had at the Capitol, parading through the halls with T-shirts on
And let me say this, if somebody calls right now, you're going to be making a difference.
Absolutely.
You'll make a difference, and give us a call at 916-456-5199. Your call means something to us, and it may mean something to other people who are listening in. You may just, say the important thing that'll get everybody to rush out of their house and say, we're not going to stand for it anymore.
Well, that certainly is true about the universal health care. Some of us feel that the governor does not really know how many people want it. Some of us go to the Capitol a lot, and we get the feeling that, we're telling them what's going on, but they really want to hear from a broader range of people. That's why being on this program is a real opportunity to have not just those activists like Joan and me who go to the Capitol, but have the community as a whole participate. We think that would be very important.
And you will be an activist if you call here at 916-456-5199. That means you're an activist, and it'll be an activist if you call Senator Johnson and all these other people that we've been talking about.
Now, another thing that we've worked very hard has been about drug prices.
Drug prices?
Prescription drug prices.
Okay, I guess Joan's going to tell us maybe a little bit about
we'll
that.
just go back and forth here a bit because this
I
is
like
something
the way
dear
you guys share the mic.
This is dear to both of us. One of the really dramatic ways to point out what this issue is about is that, for example, seniors pay more for their drugs, if you're not aware of this, than for their pets to get medications. If I went to the veterinarian and bought the exact same size, medication, same formulation, same prescription for, say, Lanoxin, which is for your heart, if that drug was prescribed for me, I'd be paying $39.31 for a prescription for that.
What, do the dogs have a bigger lobby than we do?
Well, I'm not sure. I think part of the reason for that is that there are less controls on pet prescriptions, and so they only have to pay $5.41. Yes, Betty's poking me here to say that dogs bark more, which may be true in a way. Pet owners are pretty vocal.
Yeah.
But they would only pay $5.41 for the same thing that you paid $39.31, and that should make you very angry. The average prescription in the United States is more than any number of other countries for all drugs. We pay so much more. For example, for Zocor, which is the drug that everybody's taking these days to lower their cholesterol. And that retails for $106.84 in the United States. And if I went down to Mexico, it would be $47.29.
Wow.
So you see, we feel like we're being bilked by the drug companies, and I use strong language about that.
I think we need strong
really think
language.
it's true. They cry that they need money for research and so on, but they're spending more money than the Fortune 500. They make bigger profits than any other company in the United States.
Even more than the gas?
Even more than gas, even more than Bill Gates, even more than anybody else. The drug companies are the top dogs.
You guys give us a call right now at 916-456-5199 and say you won't stand for this anymore. Yeah, so go ahead, Betty. And what?
Well, we also are concerned about elder abuse.
Elder abuse? Who's hurting elders?
I haven't hit Joan lately, but but we know the legislature this year and previously has been taking up the issue of elder financial abuse. This becomes a little tricky because people don't want to have their accounts interfered with. They don't want, say, someone to go, when you go to the bank and take some money out, you don't want someone at the bank to say, well, wait a minute. But the banks often are your best protector. Remember, if you go to the bank and somebody goes with you and takes that money away from you, you're never going to get it back. And the banks have a bill now that the
What are you saying? Some people go to the bank with, who do they go with that takes their money away from them?
Well, I hate to use such a strong word as crooks, but that's what it is. They somebody can be exploiting an older person, especially an older person who might not have all of their faculties. And so what the banks want is to be able to hold that money for a few days till the situation is investigated. Now, this isn't every time any senior goes to the bank. This would be only if the banks had reason to be suspicious. This bill was brought forth by the Elder Abuse Council in Alameda County. So we are working with people who have observed these problems, and so this is one of the kinds of elder abuse that we want. And of course, part of the problem is it'll be family or friends, and then that's a whole other issue that needs to be worked with. But if the issue is made public, at least public enough that there's a time